Okay.
Yeah, it's going. It's going. Yeah, it's fine. You can go.
Now go.
Yeah. Hello again. Our new appointed city manager, Ms. Neva Pipan, will just shortly greeting us. So please, Neva.
Hello, everybody. So I warmly welcome all participants in this hybrid event of the preliminary market consultation of the city of Maribor. Today, we know the whole world is already feeling the consequences of climate change and extreme weather conditions such as droughts, heat waves, heavy rains, floods, and landslides are also becoming more frequent in Europe and even in Maribor. Last week, we faced the consequences of a strong storm, which caused irreparable damage to the mighty trees in the city center and on other infrastructure. So we look at the sky with fear even today, when storms with hail are again predicted. We are aware that the consequences of climate change include the loss of biodiversity, and we know that this will have a long-term impact on the quality of our daily life and life in the future. So the city of Maribor is currently preparing for a major sporting event of national importance, the European Youth Olympic Festival, which begins this Sunday with the grand opening ceremony. And our city will host more than 5,000 athletes and visitors. And we are really hope that the nature will be kind to us with the weather these 10 days. The municipality of Maribor therefore joins global efforts for climate neutrality, and we are proud that we succeed in applying to the European mission of 100 climate neutral cities and entering the consortium of cities in the Maribor project. We are extremely excited to be a part of this big, maybe a bit experimental project where we are participating as a leading city. I wish you much success both today during the preliminary market consultation as well as in this 4 year project. Now I will hand over the floor to Mr. Matteo Sata, and who will present the Maribor project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this warm welcome, and for also being in this project, because I mean, we need cities that there to make sure that we can move on, and Maribor is one of them. Then it's very nice to have you in the project and working with you. If it's fine to you, I would give a short introduction to the project before getting to the part that is more important than the challenge of Maribor and the public procurement phase that Francesco Molinari will present a bit later on. I'll start sharing quickly my screen. If I can find my presentation, that would be great. Here we go. I hope that you can see my screen.
No, not yet.
Okay, it says that it's charging. Okay, it's saying that.
It started screen, yes, sharing, but
Yeah, it takes.
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine now. Yeah, it took some time.
Yeah.
Now I'll quickly introduce the project. As mentioned by Neva, we have here we have this project is part of the EU mission, the famous 100 climate neutral and smart cities. The program is divided in two parts, let's say. They selected part of the cities, the 112 cities, because at the end there are not 100, but there are 112. As I know that Maribor applied but couldn't be part of it, but at the end there is a second part that makes the participation of Maribor possible, was to participate to one of the projects that are funded by the mission and do not that's not binding to have one of those 112 cities. That's, you can be a city that is not yet, because we will probably apply. There will be chances probably later. Right now, then Maribor is part of that. That's how Maribor could be in the mission. And we have the project has 11 million of funding. That is almost the total budget. And we are mostly active on the urban planning design part. In this, to just give you an overview of our consortium, we have here the coordinator is ANCI Toscana that I represent, that I'm part of. ANCI Toscana is an association of cities of Tuscany, the region in Italy. It represents almost 300 cities of the region, then almost all the cities of the region. ANCI is one of the 28 partners of the project, and the quite important part is we have 14 cities. The other 14 partners, as you see in the part above of the slide, is that we have experts in a lot of fields, from design to climate change to urban planning to exploitation, in some cases also communication, IT, and we have also cities specialists, because in a project like that with so many cities, you obviously need also some partners that are specialized in that, in also making them exchange and talk to each other. Then we have the cities, and you see we have a quite big number of cities. There are 14. We divided them mostly, let's say, in two categories, I like to say. Leaders, the part above in red, which Maribor is one of them. And these are the ones that will make experimenting first. Then now in this phase and this procedure that we are talking about today are about the leader cities that will start this, and they will have pilots later on. Then you have the followers part, in which you can put followers and observers, even if they are not totally on the same level, but less or more they are. And then we have quite a number of cities from Eastern Europe, from Croatia, Bosnia, Poland, Czech Republic, and Montenegro, and we have representative from France. Those cities are not part of the mission, and those are cities that in most cases still need to engage with, let's say, the various climate neutrality objectives. Now, about the project, to explain it quite quickly, today we consider cities that are a solution, more than a problem, because sometimes we talk about this as a problem. It's more a solution, in the sense that cities are a small piece of land. Some say 3%, some say 4% of the world, but anyway, it doesn't change much, and they represent the most of the greenhouse gases emissions. Then we have clearly a small piece of land that could solve the most of the problem, and solving that part would help. But to do so, you need the cities, and as administrations, obviously, and as ecosystem, but you need also the citizens and the other stakeholders that may have an active role. Then we have to solve this. We have to move on and try to find solutions, because if we find the solution in cities, we have the solution somehow. And what we have to do, we talk about this approach of circular technology. That means that, according to us, we do have today the technology, but we do not have the ability to really use it in a systemic, organic, holistic way. Then we lack cities or local authorities in general and the market have issues to work together. We lack a business model. We are unable to find a way in which cities have a good visibility in what they need. And one of the problems in this market approach is actually public procurement, or actually finding solutions. Then Francesco later will explain what is these solutions for us. In all this, we have urban planning and design. The urban planning today is not always that smart, or at least we don't use yet all the technology that we have. Then we still have a problem of use, and one of those are also the silos that are created and in the local authorities in general. Then you see Mafalda here looking at an old way of doing urban planning, and then her reaction when there is a new way of doing that. That's important, and we need to find solutions on that. And this reconnects also on how, and I was talking about citizens earlier, I was talking now of urban planning, and we have obviously talked about climate neutrality since the beginning because it's the main goal. How those three are connected. How can urban planning support behavioral change and vice versa, and how those two will hit in the positive way of saying climate neutrality. And then talking about the structure of the project, and I'm almost at the end. We have the project, we divided somehow the cities that we have, and this particular on the leader cities, on two main hubs, both of them managed by two city specialists that are urban lab and energy cities that support them. And one is on energy and mobility, and one is on waste and circularity. Maribor is on the waste and circularity one. And as you will hear from the colleagues of the municipality, they will explain how they want to work on waste and circularity. But anyway, this division allows cities to influence each other on their hub, then what they have to do as leaders, but at the same time also to later on, because the two hubs are connected, to exchange also with the other cities that are doing other activities in other fields. And at the same time, we have followers connected to both of them, because followers will be supposed to do the same thing of leaders later on. And the exchange between them are really fundamental. That's an important part. And then to give you finally a short explanation of the, let's say, the trip or the steps that cities will take, starting from leader cities then define their challenges that somehow, now that we're in the innovative procurement part, they are refining things thanks to these preliminary market consultations that, again, Francesco will explain later. And then this procurement will go to a tender that will create solutions, and every city, every leader cities will have a couple, and those solutions will be deployed then, and this deployment will be evaluated, particularly from the carbon footprint point of view, but not just, because we can have other things that have an impact, even if indirectly, on carbon footprint. And then later we go to the leader cities will bring to the follower cities, to the other cities, helping them to replicate those services. Then they will mentor them, making sure that the follower cities have a smoother way of deploying the service, defining and deploying the service. And then everything starts all over again with the followers, hoping that it, let's say, the circle gets smaller because it will be quicker and smoother. This was my introduction. You have here our social media and our website. Then follow it if you wish, because it can be interesting. That's what we use also to communicate with our ecosystem and making sure that everything is taken by our community. Thanks. Mattea, I leave you the floor for the challenge. or Matteo or whoever else is doing the presentation.
Yes. I try to share my screen. I hope it will work. Do you see your screen?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you need just to put it on full, full screen.
Now it's okay now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, maybe I will wait because
there is some bug here because we see that you clicked on it, but it doesn't. Otherwise, if it's too complicated, just open it, make it as big as you can because it's not that annoying. I mean, we can see, but if you can make it a bit bigger, we maybe easier.
And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, even too much. I think yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, stop like this. I think it's good.
okay.
Yeah, Graham, it doesn't. I don't know what is that.
But I don't know if
it doesn't work, Graham, and that's the point.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I can try
no,
again.
But Mattea, start. I mean, you can start explaining the challenge.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but you see only the first slide. I'm on the second already. No, just a second. Okay, I will do it like that. Okay. I would like just say some words about Maribor. Maribor is the second largest city in Slovenia in Podravia region and has the ambition to work climate neutrality by 2030, as we already heard. Local policies and strategies addressing the needs of citizens are developed and implemented with a close cooperation with different stakeholders. And we have a lot of adopted strategic documents like strategy for the transition to circular economy, like a local energy and climate concept and municipal program of environmental protection and smart city Maribor strategy. So as already Matteo said, at Hub from Waste to Circularity, we all agree that the waste management is very important to all of us. And the municipality of Maribor actually owns a company, Snaga. This is a public company who who manage with the waste and communal services. And they also have a very important device, which is operated by them. And this is an automated sorting plant. The sorting plant is a pillar of the circular economy, and the circular economy practically means that we look at waste as tomorrow raw material. Actually, we want to give every waste the opportunity to become a new material. In such disposal system, smaller and smaller amounts of waste remain, and which has a significant positive impact on the environment. The sorting plant is a device for processing of mixed municipal waste and also for mixed waste packaging. The start of construction of the sorting plant dates on August 2017, and the trial operation the year after that, and the total and fully capacity operates the plant, I think, from the June 2018 or 19, something like that. I would like to emphasize that Maribor in our households also, we actually collect separately waste in 5 containers. Bio waste, mixed waste, paper waste, packaging, and the glass. But we currently collect also some data for example, as where the location of container is, the size of container, the amount of the collected waste, but we still need some other important data, and we missed this data. So actually, I would also emphasize this, that it's not appropriate waste collection or separation at the source disturb this sorting plant and the whole process. That's why this is the reason that the city of Maribor, together with the our waste management public company Snaga, has chosen to focus on mixed waste, aiming to establish a recycle and reuse society from waste management to resource management, and such a solution could improve waste sorting and recycling rates using digital solutions and maybe also artificial intelligence. So the current problem with which we are facing is that Maribor actually invests heavily in controlling waste management after closure this regional landfills, installing this advanced waste sorting plant and starting the development of waste to energy project, partnering with the state. But however, the problems of communal waste collection and the on-site separation of waste in separate bins prove to pose a challenge due to the lack of public engagement and discipline in the separation process. Thus, the collected waste fractions tend to be impure and miss the governmental standards for waste fractions. So there is a lack actually of mechanism for tackling the community engagement in waste separation, and lack of data that could support efforts to reach proposed targets for sustainable city-level waste management. The city and the citizens need to better understand the social dynamics of localized waste collection and separation, and data-based solution to this challenge can help engage and raise awareness among citizens and the key stakeholders by powering actually localized awareness raising campaigns, showcasing both positive and negative practices and impacts, which will encouraging proper waste disposal at the source. Actually raising awareness among citizens about the importance of waste management and reuse is very important for us. The solution which we are looking for should contribute to achieving carbon neutrality and also to be sustainable. So that's why what our solution should solve some problems, of course, relevant to the climate change. As you can see, the properly separating and processing bio-waste contributes to reduce these greenhouse emissions. We also actually join some targets for reducing these emissions. On our national energy and climate plan sets these targets. As you can see, that we need to lower this waste, manage this waste emissions, these greenhouse emissions from waste to about 65%. Also, the EU targets from Commission proposal is for Slovenia for the greenhouse emissions is about 30% approximately. And I would like also to say that mixed municipality waste still in our city represents about a third of all collected municipality waste. This is I think it's a lot, but we still actually due previous years compared to 2018 actually. We decreased the amount of mixed municipality waste for 3%, especially due to the more consistent separation of waste. But we need and we want lower this percent more. So expected characteristic of the solution which we are chasing or we would like to have is that the focus should be on reducing the amount of waste, carefully separation at source, and appropriately dealing with the gathered fractions using the most technological acceptable technologies and system solutions like localized and personalized data, a collection on the local level. So we are looking for some digital solution that will be able to us to optimize the entire value chain of recycling. For example, some high-tech sensor, artificial intelligence could be developed, a device equipped with the sensors, cameras, this neural network to identify missorted items waste built in the collection vehicle or something like that. The solution should communicate and cross-link parameters to platform, which should be with wireless technology equipped. Other thing that the data should collect with the support of maybe artificial intelligence, maybe also some personal messages could be produced or created and sent directly to the citizens on smartphones. I think that this would be very great and especially increasing the awareness of the citizens. Definitely must the solution be upgradable and open so that we could improve waste sorting and recycling rates. We also think that an effective solution should include mechanisms for monitoring and evaluating waste management practices, so that this would allow us to continuously improve the solution and the required attention of modification of solution and upgrade of this. What we are seeking for service solution which should help to the city to set up this system device which detects misplaced waste at source, produce evidence of the value generated through proper disposal, gathering some data as I already said, content of the containers, the proportion of inadequately collected waste in the container by material, so by the waste type. This data we are missing. The solution should actively engage stakeholders, citizens, and of course help tackle these issues at the city level and develop behavior change. The result, increasing the amount of properly separated waste at source, the number of citizens who support such waste collection and data gathering, and capacity of the city waste management company to monitor waste and trends in this. If somebody has some questions, you're welcome. You can send me on my mail. We prefer written because we can consult each other and we will give an answer or other explanation. I think that now Francesco is, I will hand over to Francesco.
Let's hear if there are any questions before we continue. Yeah.
I don't know if Mr. Francisco Javier Martinez is online, or I can't see. Because he
No,
actually
he's not. He's not.
not, no?
He actually, I've seen that he sent some something, but he's registered, but he's not here. Then I mean,
Okay. Because I know that he actually said that he will present the proposed solution, but whatever. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, but he's not here. Yeah.
He's not here. Mhm.
Okay,
Let's.
let me ask a couple of questions to break the ice, and then we will see whether we can have more questions from the audience. So if I understood correctly, Mateja, you are focusing on specific categories of waste. Can you specify again which are the categories of waste you are focusing on, if there are more than one? I heard you speaking about mixed waste and bio waste, but what is exactly the nature of the waste where you are specifically focused? Can you clarify that to me, please?
Yes, actually, this sorting plant is disturbed if the mixed waste is not if the container of the mixed waste is not only with the mixed waste, but in this container is also fractions from bio waste or something like that.
Okay, so the goal is to make mixed waste, let's say, more pure, even if it is not the right word to say pure, because mixed is mixed.
Yes, because it's mixed, yes.
But let's say that you would like to avoid contamination or interference with between mixed waste and other categories of waste for which there is a separate thread for sorting.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. And within the materials that at the moment create problems to mixed waste, what are the most important sources of this contamination? Which kind of materials are more frequently than others found within the mixed waste you are talking about?
I think that Snaga said that bio waste is
Okay.
the most one. Yeah.
So if we could paraphrase, we could say that the city of Maribor is looking for a solution that can help people separate bio waste away from mixed.
From the mix.
Okay.
Because it's an option to in this separate container or another way.
And okay, so that is the focus. No, not else. Not textile waste. No. Other.
No.
Okay.
At the moment, not.
Okay. And then you spoke about a device or even the use of artificial intelligence and the engagement of citizens and so on. What kind of pilot site configuration you have in mind? What are you thinking about? Are you thinking of something, because you said sorting at source, so something that is, for example, in the household, or something that is in the hotel establishment? So what is the current way of allowing people, families, or hotel owners to differentiate waste at source? Are there separate containers? What are the strategies at the moment?
At the moment, actually, we have 5 different containers for bio waste, for mixed waste, for glass, packaging, and paper.
Okay. Yes.
At households.
Okay. So this means that this device ideally should be located on the container of mixed waste.
Yes, actually we are thinking, yes, on the container of the mixed waste, but on the other hand, we are thinking that the better solution would be if this device could be or should be attached to the this garbage truck who collect
Mhm.
the mixed waste.
So if the container standing in front of my house is taken by the truck and
Yes.
it contains some extra waste that shouldn't be there, the truck should be able or enabled to detect that there is this contamination.
Yes, we were thinking about that the truck should detect this missed sorted waste and list it, and maybe send this message to the household so that they know that there was a mistake and they can be very more careful next time.
Okay. But in any case, the message would not be used to remove the problem, because if you locate the message at the level of the truck, already the truck has done its job, and therefore the contamination has been extended to the contents of the truck. So the mixed.
Yeah, but I think that with the message we will impact on the behavior change of the citizen, and more messages you get, I think it's not quite
Yes.
fine, and so you can think and you can change your
Behavior.
Yes.
Okay, so that was my set of questions. I don't know if there is anything else that other people in this room would like to ask, because we've got plenty of time, so we can spend a little bit more on describing the challenge and then go to my part of this introduction. So I'm just checking if there is anything else to be asked by other people.
Maybe it's important to note one particular point about the scope of the project. So we're actually not hoping to cover the whole of the city with these devices or something like that. So the idea is not to make this oversized project with a big budget. It's more of the let's say we would conduct this pilot project on particular location, maybe move the location in different time periods, so that we could, let's say, have 1 or 2 solutions ready, and then we could move these solutions to the city and make some kind of localized actions and involvement with citizens, so that maybe from the financial perspective, this whole idea, this project is more, let's say, more controllable, more realistic. So this is, I think, very important to understand.
Yeah, I agree with you. So if no one is making any more questions, I will share my screen with the presentation of the procurement that will follow today's event. So now I'm sharing. Now you should start seeing my screen. I am going to full presentation mode and moving back and forth. You should be able to see my screen. Okay, so first of all, thanks for making this event possible. My name is Francesco Molinari. I am also, like Matteo Satta, on behalf of ANCI Toscana, one of the members of the coordination team of this Maribor project, which is co-funded by the European Union. And as Matteo said, is one of the key projects, the flagship projects, where the European Union is putting money to promote climate neutrality in cities. And Maribor is one of the 8 cities at the moment being part of this procedure, which is my task to explain to you today. This procedure has basically 2 steps. The first step is today. Today's event is not a normal workshop. In fact, among other things, it is being recorded. In fact, among other things, the participants today will be disclosed and the list of participants will be uploaded to a special section of our Climaboro website, which is dedicated to this event. So it's not a special workshop. It's named preliminary market consultation, not by us, but by the legislation. I have another slide on the legislation on public procurement. And the purpose of this event is to hear from representatives of industry rather than research and innovation if there are any solutions in the state of the art which may help fulfill the challenge as it was described earlier by Mattea and the representatives of the city of Maribor. By solutions, we are using deliberately a very vague term, which includes both existing products and services. And so using the familiar scale that is named the technology readiness levels, that would mean products and services staying at TRL 9, which is the maximum level in this scale. On the other hand, we are also open to getting to know about existing results from research and innovation projects which have never touched the market yet, but may have good potential of being deployed locally in the city of Maribor, serve the purposes of the challenges, and at the same time gain that extra input of evidence from the playground which can transform the prototypes into market successful products and services. This is one of the main elements of the vision of the Climaboro project, which is, as Matteo said previously, looking for solutions which can be helpful to solve part of the aspects of the climate crisis we are all experiencing. And you can see behind my back, there is a nice picture explaining, for example, what the nice region of Tuscany may look like in a few decades if we do nothing serious against the risk of being flooded, the region itself, so that we would have the lagoon in Florence, not only in Venice. These are very serious challenges and we don't have time to waste. So we are looking for solutions which are immediately executable, and the instrument we are adopting, the public procurement, for us can be a nice innovation in the state of the art to facilitate the fast deployment of the solutions that work best. The call for tender concerning this procedure has not been launched yet. It will be do so. We will do so in during the last week of September this year. We have an internal meeting of the Climaboro Consortium on the 20th and 21st of September, and I expect that during that meeting we will approve the text of the call for tender, which doesn't exist yet. And so our position today is to listen to anyone willing to present ideas, proposals, contributions, existing businesses which can contribute in the direction stated by the city representatives before me. The budget for this call, as far as the city of Maribor is concerned, will be slightly less than 300,000 euros. Which will be split up roughly in 2 halves, but it will depend on the respective prices offered for the solutions, more or less in two halves, it will be split between two winners. That's another very important remark which I want to make up front. This call doesn't look for a single winner. It looks for at least two winners, and if there is space, maybe more, indicating that we are ready to accept innovative solutions which we never had the time to conceive of or to describe in our call for tender. So today's vagueness, let me use this term, which is probably unfair, but the loose terms which have been used to describe the situation in the city of Maribor, they are not vague because we lack opinions or ideas or where we would like to go, but because we want to hear first if there are existing things or things that are coming up which can solve the challenge more effectively than this. Solving the challenge at a reasonable price, because as my colleague from the city hall or from the waste management company said before me, this is a small budget and there is no way of solving the big issue with such a small budget. Nevertheless, we can promise to you, and I will repeat that if the winning solutions work well, the city will be ready to scale them up using additional resources from their own budget. The participants in the call, which will be launched in September, can be any economic operators, either individual operators or groups, consortia, as it is sometimes said. We will try hard to keep the access requirements at the very minimum. So we will be open to even startup entrepreneurs with smart ideas, bearing in mind that they should be at least having ideas at the level of TRL 5 to 6. This means prototypes which have already finished the phase of laboratory research, and they have already opened up, or they are ready to be opened up to experimentation in real or realistic environments. We will protect the intellectual property rights of the participants because, as I said, the goal here is to promote the creation of successful products or services in the market. So hopefully the positive experience of the pilot in Maribor can be helpful for these entrepreneurs to launch a successful business at a broader level, not only in Slovenia, but more broadly at European level. As I said, there will be other 7 cities involved. They have all done their respective preliminary market consultations during the month of July, and now we are able to announce that the proceedings of all 8 events are or are ready to be uploaded to the website of the Clamaboro project. The reference to the cost of the solution can be used as an example to make a list of at least 5 elements that any solution should be in possession of. So while I was saying that we are neutral or agnostic on the nature of the solution we are looking for, so to make examples, using the device at the level of the truck is one option, but there could be another option where we put sensors at the level of the containers. Suppose that these sensors do their job. Sensors can be visual sensors, or they can be sensitive to the touch, for example. And this is possible, and we are open to any proposal provided it makes sense, provided it fits within the perimeter of the challenge that was previously outlined, including the reference to behavioral change and people's engagement. This is what we name the socio-technical nature of the solutions we are looking for, where there is for sure a technical component, which can also be about high technology if someone decides to go, for example, for artificial intelligence. But it can also be something very low in terms of technology demands, demonstrating that it creates incentives to people to change their behaviors. For example, still in this area, I'm aware of a previous call for tender, which was launched in 2020 in a small town in the middle of the Sardinian region in Italy. The town was named Fonni, and it is such a small town with narrow alleys between the buildings that there is no way of using trucks for waste collection. It is literally done by mules, the animals, in the place of trucks. And they have started a door-to-door waste management campaign, asking the market through a call for tender to provide solutions that could start quantifying the amount of waste being differentiated by the households. Most of the buildings are occupied by families, the residents in the small town of Fonni. And so through that mechanism, the idea was, okay, let's, for example, give a weight to the quantity of differentiated waste, and let's transform the information given by the weight of the waste into something that is that gives value to the family because it contributes to reduce the amount of the tax to be paid for the service of door-to-door waste collection. So that's the concept behind, and as you can see, it is close to the concept we are discussing today, even if the solution in the meantime, I lost sight of that call for tender, it may have gone in a separate direction. But for sure, it is something that also thanks to the availability of the city of Maribor to do an experimentation in the small size, which can be only one truck, or it can be only one street, or it can be only one building. Everything with the aim of making the available budget sufficient for the purpose. So even in this case, if the suggestion was coming from some of you that one street is too much and it should be just one side of the street or just one building, that would be precious information for us because it would help us shape the direction of the call for tender. And then, as it was previously mentioned, scalability and transferability of these solutions should be considered as fundamental requisites. Scalability means, we already said that if it works in one street or for one truck, the city hall will be ready to scale it up and make it deployed more broadly in all the streets or on all the trucks. Transferability means that, like in the example from Sardinia, if there is something that has worked fine in Maribor, there are no reasons why we shouldn't try or give a try to this solution also in other cities of Slovenia and maybe other cities of Europe. Today, we hope that we can have a discussion with some of you on the details of the challenge. If not, and especially in the case no one will dare present an existing solution, there will still be time for those who couldn't make it today, first of all, to listen and watch the recording of today's session, which is going to be published on the Clamaboro website. And you will have time, another dozen of days until the end of the month, to send us written contributions. Us means, first and foremost, my colleague Mateja from the city of Maribor, who will receive happily every contribution and publish it on our website. Why this obsession for transparency and for publishing everything? Because this is not a normal workshop. This is the first step of a legal procedure, a legal procurement procedure, and the conditions posed by the legislation to this phase of the procedure are related to ensuring the full transparency and the full knowledge of what is happening today and what will be happening in the next few days until the end of July by all people interested in participating, at least potentially interested in participating in the future call for tender. The only exception to the rule of transparency is in case you tell us that there are some details of your solution which you would not like to share because, for example, there is a patenting process pending, and in those cases it is known that one of the conditions for obtaining the patent are that the solution must not have been known before, so mentioned in the state of the art before. That is the only restriction to transparency. You will find everything in the template we have uploaded to the website of Clamaboro in correspondence with the challenge of the city of Maribor. You can download the template and there is a space to put ticks close to the sections where you don't want the contents to become public. We will drop the contents and publish the remaining part of the contribution on our website. Then, like I said, the call for tender will be published at the end of September. We will allow comfortable time to participants, and then another 6 months indicatively for the evaluation. It may look like a very long time, but I will explain to you later why we are taking so much time or planning to take so much time before signing the 16 procurement contracts. Why 16? Because we are, as I said, doing 8 parallel processes in 8 cities, and in each city there will be a different challenge and 2 winners, hopefully bringing possible solutions to the existing challenges. The legal framework is constituted by the European Directive number 24 of 1214 on public procurement. This directive has been adopted in all the EU member states since many years already. And now we are referencing to it because this is one of the very first attempts ever of running a public procurement experiment in 8 different countries of Europe at the same time, as part of the same procedure. So the only reasonable legislation of reference is obviously the European directive, not the reception or adoption of that directive in Slovenia rather than Italy or anywhere else. The instrument we will be using for the procurement is named Innovation Partnership. And in one of my next slides, I will explain to you why we are so fond of using this instrument instead of other instruments. But what is important is that there will not be the city of Maribor playing the role of public procurer. It will be us, it will be ANCI Toscana, acting on behalf of the 8 cities simultaneously, thanks to a specific article of the Public Procurement Directive, and also thanks to the grant agreement of Clamaboro, which has ensured the budget the needed budget to carry this experiment out. Also, the preliminary market consultation, today's event, has a specific article of the procurement directive describing its purposes and ways of organizing it. And you can find very easily the public procurement directive on Google, or if you want to read more, we have also prepared a nice FAQ page where you can also put your own question, and you will be glad of answering to you in private and publishing the question and answer on the FAQ space, which is therefore meant to be a living document. Finally, the announcement of today's event has been published since early June on the official Gazette of the European Union, on the online section named TED, which is dedicated to public procurement. And this is the URL where you can find the announcement of today's event. So the message is, it is all legal, what we are doing, under the conditions of transparency and related to transparency that I mentioned earlier. So where do we stand now? We have been listening to, first of all, thanks to the member of cabinet that spoke first, we have been listening to the priorities of climate policy in the city of Maribor, and within this framework, we have been listening to Mattea and her colleague describing the fundamental traits of the challenge that is offered to your attention today. What I would like to hear from your comments and your questions, and also from the contributions that you can send until the 31st of July, is whether there are specific features or constraints or other elements of this challenge that we should more carefully consider while drafting the text of the call for tender. In my view, the main focus areas of our next attention points can be described or can be gathered in three groups. The first group has to do with data. Probably we should speak more about that. So probably after me, Mattea or her colleague, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, can say something on this, because it is quite likely that the information we are going to gather with the solution we have in mind is going to join some existing data sets where information on the performance, let's say, of the city of Maribor's waste collection organization is already being recorded. But these are definitely going to be new data, and probably these new additional data sets should also be stored somewhere. And if I was a participant in the call for tender, I would certainly ask for more information on the existing platforms where existing data is stored, and what is the level of interoperability that is expected between the temporarily identified storage site for the new information and the existing and well-established platform or repository where the information that is already in place or being used is stored. And there could also be a question on the nature of this information, whether it can be opened or it should stay closed, for example, because it interferes with the privacy of people. Second group of issues or features or constraints may have to do with people themselves. We said we are looking for socio-technical solutions. Therefore, an immediate question is about the role of citizens or stakeholders in this context. If only citizens or also other stakeholders, we mentioned the hotels earlier, it may be also about restaurants more than simply only hotels. I don't know. This is something I would ask more clarifications about if it was my task to write a proposal for the upcoming call for tender. And in any case, as we already said, there will be the need to identify the size and also the location of the pilot site and the related community in order to keep the structure of the problem at a manageable size, especially under the budget perspective. And then there is the technology family of issues. Technology is a broad term, and probably there are several technologies or families of technology that can be relevant in this context. One is named climate services, which is a sort of decision support system where data is being used to take decisions, more informed decisions, not only by policymakers, but also normal people, lay people. And this could be one of the cases. Mattia was mentioning earlier that the results of this interaction between the truck and the container with some improperly conferred waste should be sent to the people living in that house, for example, to provide information that can be reused next time to make a better decision in terms of sorting. Another family of technologies one can look into and see whether there are solutions already in the state of the art is the so-called citizen science, where the individual people are invited to be themselves collectors of data and information on behalf of the public sector or the research institution running the experiment. Again, there are some technologies enabling or facilitating this activity, but we can also think of incentives for the people to be engaged. And this brings us to the so-called gamification, which is a technique more than simply a technology, enabling people to be stimulated to improving their performances, whatever they are, by the consideration of aspects of competition that may be more or less influential depending on the psychology of people involved. And then I already spoke about interoperability and also legal and ethical aspects, for example, related to the protection of privacy, but also this concept of sandbox, which is another keyword in our project Maribor. It basically means that we are, of course, obliged to do the experimentations and procure products and services complying with existing norms and regulations. For example, we could never accept a service that freely discloses the personal data of people involved without any care. But on the other hand, if there are specific aspects of existing norms and regulations which should be changed in order for the solution to work better, or in order for the solution to be more broadly deployed, we are very curious to hear about these details, and the call will contain specific provisions to make sure that the participants have their say in specifying what needs to be done, especially in the case that the pilot successfully ends with convincing results. As I announced, there is at least one good reason for us choosing the innovation partnership as the procurement instrument. Please read this slide in front of you from left to right. Think of the first column, so to speak, as located in the future when the call for tender has its deadline. Like I said, December this year or maybe January next year. At that time, what we hope to receive is a collection of offers from several distinct bidders. Like I said, they may be individuals, companies, research institutions, consortia, startup entrepreneurs, and so on and so forth. Normally, what happens in normal calls, conventional calls for tender, every bidder should send us a technical offer describing the solution in this case, accompanied by a price for the solution, and then the normal evaluation process should start. This is not what will be happening in our case. In our case, what we will do is to receive only a technical bid and then start a negotiation process which may take up to 6 months, as I said earlier, because we want to stay large, to have a buffer of time in case of need. And these negotiations will simply be face-to-face, bilateral, and privacy-protected meetings with each single bidder, the aim of these meetings being the improvement of the quality of received proposals, of received technical bids. So we will give you a sort of extra chance to make it better. And to make it better, we will give you additional information on a bilateral basis on what should be done, in our opinion, to improve the quality of the existing offer. Then, of course, you will be left free of deciding not to follow our advice and to confirm the validity of the previous technical offer. Or we could simply tell you that we are happy like this. Or we could also tell you that there are some aspects in your proposal that are useless in our opinion. So if you drop them, you will save time and money, and we will probably give you more room to increase the quality of your offer in another direction. After this round of negotiation, so after each single bidder has had a chance of listening and then sufficient time to change the contents of their offer, we will close the process and give you the advice of submitting a revised version of the proposal originally presented, this time accompanied by a price. And then the conventional evaluation process will start, which is also going to take some time within the 6 months I mentioned, up to the point that we will be able to award not just one single bidder, but the first 2 in the ranking, where the evaluation criteria will follow the principles of the so-called MEET, standing for the most economically advantageous tender, or more simply saying the best and second best quality to price ratio. The evaluation criteria will be described in detail within the text of the call for tender, so stay tuned and wait until the end of September to learn more about them. I'm practically done. I know there is a presentation from Matteo going into more detail in what I am about to announce, but this is just a reminder because as I said many times, there are 8 cities in this project, all of them being part of the same procedure. 4 of these cities, Sofia, Grenoble, Athens, and Differdange, belonged to a hub that we named from stationary energy to mobility, because those were the topics dealt with in the first group of preliminary market consultations held in the first half of July. And then there is the second group to which Maribor belongs, also including Torino and Cascais, with very similar challenges to what Maribor is presenting as presented today. So my suggestion is to go and look at least at the challenges and the recordings from the preliminary market consultations held in Torino and Cascais, because there can be maybe the opportunity of participating in the tender with more than just one proposal. So one for the city of Maribor and maybe the same one or a very similar one also working in Torino or Cascais or maybe in other of these 8 cities, the challenges of which may be different in some aspects, but they are united by very many commonalities. That's all. I thank you for your attention. You can always make questions now, later by email to Mattia, and in any case, continue following us on our website, where all the information regarding this procedure and the other 7 parts of this procedure will be continuously and frequently, very frequently uploaded by us until the end of July and later until the end of September for the publication of the call, which will also be featured on TED, the online official journal of the European Union. That's all. I stop sharing and remain open to receiving your questions. Thank you.
Seems that no one has questions. Is it correct? Yeah, sounds correct. We have no reactions. Al, okay. Mattia, do you want to? There is nothing that you want to say, or do you want me to move to the challenges?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Go. It'll take again a couple of minutes. Screen. Anyway, I'm here. I'll try to give you an overview. I'll just waiting for the presentation to get uploaded by the presentation mode. I'd like just to say, just introduce this, that then we define the other challenges that other cities define. I mean, as we explained at the beginning, there are you should see it now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as I said earlier, the cities are somehow divided into groups that we call hub or climb hubs. Then here we have the hub that is more related, not related directly to Maribor, in which Maribor may later participate as follower in case, but for now, the 4 leader cities are Sofia, Grenoble, Alpes Métropole, and the Grenoble Alpes Métropole is the urban agglomeration. Then it's not the city, it's a group of cities. Then we have Athens and different dimensions. As you say, we have like quite a from a geographical and also other features point of view, quite different cities. And they will be working a lot on behavioral change. But the first case is Sofia, that is the only pure use case, challenge use case that we have about mobility. The city of Sofia has a quite common problem in cities. They are having issues with traffic, and the issues with traffic is mostly related to an excessive use of cars too. Today, the car share is around 40%. They want to reduce it to 20%. That means making 80% of use of other meaning. To make sure that this may happen, one of the questions that they consider is to reduce traffic also via reducing the occupancy rates in paid parking zones, making sure that people can find more easily a parking. This should allow to car the park and to to find other mobility solutions. I would add also the fact that since quite a number of years, we know the impact of parking about traffic, but we still lack sometimes the data that allows to really define this impact. And this can be a very good occasion to do so. Then we have then the solutions that they imagine is some GPS-based application allowing them first to spot the parking that are free and to define also who gets in and out the area. And then they want to define some data patterns, and they want also to understand how many cars getting in this zone are related to residents. Then, obviously the pilot will be on a small part of the city, then at least 8 blocks, but should be around that size. Then we have a city in Luxembourg. That's the third city, I think, for dimension in Luxembourg. But anyway, that's the only one part of the 100 climate neutral and smart cities mission. They want to work in attracting or engaging citizens and other stakeholders to define and to reach the goal that they find about producing locally 100% of electricity. They want clean electricity to be used in households and private buildings, excluded the industrial ones. And then to do so, they really need what they call a socio-technical system. Then what they need is data visualization on one side and engagement tools for citizens and other related stakeholders. These are the most important thing that they need. They really need to make sure that they have something, first making people participating, and second, defining some simulations to understand where the example solar panels can be put and how to manage them. Now, moving to Athens, obviously a totally different size, because we move from a city of 30,000 people to one that is various million. In this case, Athens wants to engage citizens. They want to engage citizens about mostly energy and mobility, but a lot about energy. And then they want to improve their behaviors. That is defined one of the most important things. And then they want somehow to create forms of local citizenship. Making sure that citizens get engaged with the city's objectives, and then they contribute also locally, also home. Then they are mostly looking for applications that support that, define dialogue with the citizens, gamification, and other solutions that will create active citizenship locally. Now, to end with this hub, we have Grenoble. Grenoble Métropole, as I said, it's 49 cities, if I'm not wrong. That's 500,000, the size, 500,000, less or more. And this is, let's say, a challenge that is strictly related to the fact that the soil artificialization in Grenoble, as in many other, by the way, alpine areas, is becoming, increasing the double. I mean, this is a problem that happens anywhere, but in those areas the problem is double. Then it goes twice faster, and this is a big issue for them. Then again, they need a data system. They need a data system to monitor this, to get data, to create models, in particular about heat islands. These are one of the most important consequences, and define other scenarios. And another part that is very important, as I was mentioning, behavioral change, they want awareness raising actions. Then they can define that, also taking into consideration those tools. Now, once done that, we have the second hub, the one of Maribor. And again, as also Francesco mentioned, we have, like here, we have more similarities also in the activities or in the pilots that will happen. We have Torino as an example, is a very similar case to the one in Maribor, with difference, because if Maribor is mostly targeting, let's say, bio-waste, here we have a lot of textile and electric and electronic waste. That's WEEE, is electric and electronic waste. And again, the request is having a strong data system supporting to identify the gaps, because there is the share of people really making the job as they should with those waste, with that kind of waste, is still too low. Then it's necessary somehow to understand how to fill that gaps, making people more participative, and also defining the CO2 impact. And then obviously this can have positive consequences, like helping to recycle better and defining participatory actions and so on. In Cascais, in Portugal, again, same thing. In this case, it's just textile. Again, it's a data collection system that can allow to monitor and manage the waste streams. And then here, I would add that another thing that we want to do is really to make the whole local ecosystem be working together, not just citizens, but they really want to work also with local associations, organizations, NGOs, and whoever else. I mean, whoever is maybe related to that. And they really want a public awareness working very much. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that they want to do. And then, okay, Maribor, it's done. And then the last case, that is the one that is a bit more different. In this case, we talk about a city that has a lake, a small lake. The city is Ioannina. It's a city less or more of the size of Maribor, to make it easy. They lie on this lake, and there is this island that you see in the picture. And Ioannina wants to make sure that the lake is not polluted and to preserve the lake, but also because this has an impact of air quality, because it seems, according to researchers, that when the water evaporates, if it is somehow polluted, it creates pollution, because that becomes air pollution. The humidity becomes air pollution. This is a big issue. Now the cities once again some kind of way to monitor it, to create data, starting making data around it, and making sure that they can follow and support this process. Obviously, they are also starting working with some other authorities around the lake. In particular, the lake authority. There is a lake authority. This is one of our first achievements. I think that's Ioannina start working with them, and then they want to create data to define co-creation, and again, starting from that to also improve people behaviors making sure that all target groups are involved. In this case, I'd like to add that there is also tourists. That is a particular way of doing, that's a particular type of category, because a tourist is can have a big impact even if they don't stay long. And that's it. Also, because this slide is where the last one, then it's not useful anymore. And that's okay to say that with this one, we are closing our preliminary market consultations, at least the online consultations, also because obviously you still have time, as Francesco said, to send some forms, solution forms, or send questions all along this month. Thank you. There isn't any question. Matej, I would leave you maybe the...
Yeah, if there is no questions, then I will say thank you for everything, and I think that we can, we are available, yes, for questions via email, and we hope we get some. And we are looking forward for next challenge and for in this project. So
Okay. Thank you to everyone. I would like to remind everyone, as Matej said, not to mind to send any questions, and if you have solutions that may fit, don't mind to send them also, because don't forget that it's a way of supporting doing the tender. That means that it's everything in public. It is something that can be read, but it's transparent. But this may support us in defining some tender that is more related not just to the market, but also to reality, let's say, avoiding that we ask something too difficult to have, and it's this is why. Then obviously you can your solution forms don't have to have the 100% of what you consider being very innovative or your secret formula to win, but you can at least let us understand what is the status of the market. Thank you. I don't know if Francesco, do you have anything to say? No, he's gone. Okay. Okay.
I don't have anything to say. I only thank all of you for organizing this event.
Okay. Thanks. Then also from me and the whole project, and to the city of Maribor and all related partners like Zoom that I see there. And thank you very much. Thank you very much.
okay, thank you. And